welcome. You've reached me in Chandler, Arizona. Just type in and let me know where you're from. We've got Janie from Ohio, McGill from Jamaica, Sharon. We've got Dr. Livingston here, I think from New York. Just let me know where you're from. New York City, wonderful. Portland, Oregon, welcome, Dan. So looks like people are signing in. I'm not gonna take too much longer to get started. What I wanna do is welcome everyone here for joining us today. I wanna thank you for taking your time to learn about stress learning in the brain. I'm gonna go through a presentation today that will walk you through my slides, as well as go live into an online program that I'll share with you some solutions and tools for teachers to use. So let's get started right away. I'm going to share my screen with you. And if you could just let me know that you can, in fact, see my screen. Hang on a minute. I need to make sure I see the chat. 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, just 1 minute. Yes, it will be recorded and there will be a replay that will be sent out after, 2 hours after. Welcome, I see some people coming in. I can see you, but not your screen. Okay, I am getting to the point where I will be able to share my screen. I just need to get the screen sharing. Here we are. I'm starting the screen share here, and I'll be presenting to everyone. It's a little bit of a rigmarole to share my screen, but let me know that you can, in fact, see my desktop. If you could just type that you can see my desktop. Yes, okay, thank you. So I'm going to go straight to the PowerPoint today. And we're going to go back and forth a little bit between the PowerPoint. I'm going to ask some polls of you. There'll be a little bit of interaction with this, and we'll get to know each other a little bit this way. But I want to welcome you and thank you so much for taking your time to learn about stress learning in the brain. My name is Andrea Samadi, and I'm here as the presenter today for Bridging the Achievement Gap with Neuroscience and Social Emotional Learning. So for those of you who completed the poll questions, I want to thank you. We have school administrators, principals, teachers from across Canada, the US, and as I looked at the chat in the beginning, there was Jamaica, so we've gone international, which is very exciting. So I want to share with you what you said you wanted to learn from this webinar. You let me know that you want to learn about how attention to social emotional learning can help our students. Yes, we will cover this. This is the main topic. More about learning in the brain. Yes, it is fascinating and applicable in the classroom. How to build resilient students. Yes, we will talk about building resilient and gritty students that persevere and persist. We'll talk about ways to decrease stress on students and teachers while maintaining an environment of excellence. Yes. Strategies to share with teachers to help them deal with stress in the classroom. Yes. More about brain and learning. Yes, this is a hot topic these days. Strategies to help teachers manage stress and be more productive for their students. Absolutely, this is what we're talking about. And then how to best support teachers. The link between the emotional support of teachers and student learning. how to integrate strategies to lessen stress personally for staff and students. So this is what we're going to cover. We'll do a bit of my background. We'll go into why neuroscience in the classroom. We're going to talk about the problem, how stress affects the brain and learning, and then the solution, how to use neuroscience and social emotional learning to optimize learning and reduce stress. Then I'll show you some teacher and student tools and ways that I could work with you and your teams. So welcome. You're talking right now or watching a webinar. Thank you for your time. You've reached Andrea Samadi, and I'm in my office in Chandler, Arizona. I started my career as a middle school teacher in Toronto, Canada, and my paths crossed with a well-known motivational speaker that I saw teaching students strategies to improve their grades, their mindset, and their results. I was intrigued enough to leave my teaching career and go to work for this speaker. I took all his knowledge and turned it into a curriculum for young people based on these success strategies, like how to have a better attitude, goal setting and achieving, persistence, perseverance, confidence building. For the past 15 years, I've been researching, working with, and gathering ideas from this industry with a goal to take this information back to the classroom to prepare our students to be future ready. In 2014, I officially partnered with Arizona's Department of Education, providing character and leadership programs to Arizona schools. This is where neuroscience came into play. As I was working with the schools, teachers let me know that I had to add brain-based content to my programs. They said this is a necessity. So here you see on the left, my good friend, Arizona Administrator Jeff Kleck. He met with me in his office and he showed me what I needed to learn. He basically went to his bookshelf and took off every book that he thought could help me learn this. Things like D'Souza, How the Brain Learns, Perkins, The History of Thinking. Then I added John Medina's Brain Rules and Dr. Daniel Siegel's Brainstorm. I took all this information, researched it, and I didn't know what to do with it. It was overwhelming and confusing. At one point, I looked at a diagram that showed how the brain works with memory, and I just didn't know how I was going to do this. So I was already working with Mark Robert Waldman with my personal life. He was a neuroscience researcher who now we've officially partnered with. But I went to him and I asked him, could you coach me to take this material and put it into my program so that I'm doing this the right way? And so I worked with him. He made sure I had the most accurate understanding of the brain and how it relates to learning, and we created the Level Up book. After some time of working with students in Arizona and teachers, I started hearing and seeing for myself that student motivation was still low and stress was at an all-time high. And I could relate as a former teacher. And I wondered how neuroscience could bridge the achievement gap. So I was on a mission to find others who had the answers. Judy Willis quoted that neuroscience research implications for teaching are an invaluable classroom asset because teachers who are prepared with the knowledge of the workings of the brain will have the optimism, incentive, and motivation to help all children build their brain potential. So I started to get excited because I knew there was a big problem, and that's stress. Students were either bored, the work was too easy, or frustrated it was too difficult. And this was adding more work and stress to educators that I saw starting to question their ability to teach. And I was looking at everyone that was studying this problem. And definitely stress was something that Judy Willis was analyzing. John Medina had it as his rule number 8 in his book, Brain Rules. He says stressed brains don't learn the same way. We added this in our Level Up book. Too much stress disrupts every neural activity in your brain. So what does this mean for students and learning? What solutions could we come up with? That's when I asked Mark Waldman to help me out. So here's the explanation that he shared with me using basic neuroscience. It doesn't need to be complicated. It can be very simple. So he said, as parents, teachers, administrators, and coaches, we need to understand what happens to the brain under stress and why stress must be reduced to improve learning. We know from fMRI scans, and you can see that here, that's a scan, functional magnetic resonance imaging. It measures the brain activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. So we know from these scans that frequent boredom and frequent frustration is stressful for the brain. And how to explain this is that there's a switching station called the amygdala, and that's right here, it's in about there, that when the brain is under high stress, it actually goes into, well, let's just talk about low stress. Under low stress, the information that goes into the brain goes to the prefrontal cortex, where we want it to go, which is the reflective brain. And this is where the executive functions take place, like memory, planning, organizing, sustaining attention, staying focused in class, thinking through problems, keeping materials organized, showing up to class on time, reflecting on work, asking for help, all the things we need students to do. This is happening in the prefrontal cortex. But with high stress, the information bypasses the prefrontal cortex and goes to the reactive part of the brain that's trained to go into fight, flight, and freeze mode. So the limbic system in humans is designed the same as animals, and this automatic response that's built to keep us safe when in danger actually doesn't do us any good in the classroom. And so how does this translate to students? Well, the fighting turns with acting out. Flight, when students get up and walk around. Freeze, they're spacing out, they're not paying attention, and then they start to fall behind. I could clearly see this with my own two children. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and without understanding this before, I was putting their brains into reactive mode when I was hurrying them up for school. I would say, quick, let's get in the car, rush, 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 let's go. And then their eyes would bulge out and they would quickly listen to what I was saying, get into the car. And I had no idea that I was bypassing their prefrontal cortex and not setting them up for success as I was rushing them to school. So understanding this as a parent is crucial, as well as for teachers. And thank goodness Dr. Daniel Siegel speaks about the fact that we can quickly repair things like this by trying something different next time. So we can learn from this ourselves. So now, how do we bring this into the classroom? So the solution. So I knew what the problem was, and next Mark Waldman shared with me the solution to this problem. He shared with me his research from his next book. It's to be released in 2017, and he's writing this book with someone named Chris Manning. The title is Neurowisdom, the Brain Science of Money, Happiness, and Success. He told me if I saw any connections between his research and a way to help the educational field, I could use this research. And when I looked at what he had written, his book perfectly aligns to the social emotional learning competencies. We see them on castle.org, such as self-awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and self-management. So I've added mindset to my image here because mindset's been crucial to the work I've been doing for the past 15 years, as well as Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, and she's making a case for growth mindset as it relates to ability. So let's come back, and I'm going to bring you back on, and I have a poll for you. Can you see me again? Have I shared my screen back so that you can see me again? You can type, still seeing the PowerPoint. Can you see me? Yes, you can see me. Okay, so I'm going to load a poll into the area. If you go to the top here and click on poll, I'm going to load a question in for you. So give me a second to load up our question. And start the poll. So here's my question to you. After looking at the brain and how stress affects teaching and learning. Do you think that you could take this and explain it to somebody else? Just answer the poll and I will share with you the results, because we know teaching someone else is the best way to learn. So after having a look at this, this is your check your understanding section for educators. There is a test, and this is the test. So I'm just going to have a look quickly. And I'm going to end the poll. And the poll. So 100% of you said yes. So good, we're on track, because the minute that you can share this with someone else shows that you've learned something. So let's go back to the solutions now. I'm going to go into the strategies. This is where we need to definitely take some notes, and if you want, feel free to take some photos of the strategies that I'll share. So we're back. Just let me know if you can see the screen. We're going into the solutions now. So let's talk about mindset. That was one of the first attributes or competencies that I wanted to have a look at. Here are some strategies now to reduce stress using social emotional learning competencies as our guide. Most of us have heard and understand what growth mindset is, but are we continuing to practice it and strengthen it? What is growth mindset? So let's just do a review. Most of us know what it is, but discussion of growth mindset in educational circles is gaining momentum as it relates to students and learning and achievement. It's based on Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck and her idea that mindset and ability are connected. The New Psychology of Success, her book written in 2000, she developed her ideas of where ability comes from. For some people, success and failure is based on innate ability or lack of this ability. Dweck describes this as fixed theory of intelligence and argues that it gives rise to a fixed mindset right here. At the other end of the spectrum are those who believe success is based on a growth mindset. These individuals argue that success is based on learning, persistence, effort, and hard work. In a fixed mindset, students believe their basic abilities, their intelligences, their talents are fixed. They have a certain amount and that's it, and their goal becomes to look smart all the time and never look dumb. Well, in a growth mindset, students understand that their talents and abilities can be developed through effort, good teaching, and persistence. They don't necessarily think everyone has the same or anyone can be Einstein, but they believe everyone can get smarter if they work at it. So what about our own mindset? How does this come into a play for a teacher or a parent? How can we strengthen our own mindsets and be role models for our students that we're teaching these concepts to? Because when we're faced with a challenge, we don't always stay here. Most of us are not perfect living in this area all the time. So even the best of us can get knocked off course, obstacles come our way. How do we get back on track? Well, if you want to strengthen your own growth mindset, here are some suggested tips. Practice growth mindset. When something challenges us, there's always a solution, but the solution usually involves hard work. Be prepared to roll up your sleeves and put in the effort required for your breakthrough. Here's an example. Let's just say for an educator, you want to learn how to create engaging videos for your classroom. You've seen others flipping their classroom and they have these beautiful videos that they've created, but the editing software that you've looked at is driving you up the wall. How could you ever learn something like this? You could definitely ask a student for help. They could probably do this in their sleep. Or you could say, I could never learn this, right? So you could also learn it yourself by going to YouTube or thinking about your growth mindset, going to lynda.com and looking at a course on simple steps to create your own videos and see if you could persist and not give up and learn this new skill. So showing students that you have a growth mindset and put it into practice is a great way to be a good role model. Some other ways would be adding affirmations. Here's some that I use. I'm so thankful that with hard work and persistence, I find a solution to my problem, because we all have problems. It's just finding the solutions. I embrace learning new things and love the challenge that comes with plowing a new pathway to solve a problem. Sometimes it's definitely easier to be over here. It's less work and you don't have to do as much, but the growth doesn't happen. I'm responsible for my own growth and I'm willing to put in the effort I need to achieve my goal, because this is definitely effort, but the rewards are incredible. Also have a fixed mindset plan of attack. So notice when you're turning to blaming others or feeling defensive, and then set yourself back on track. Remember to take responsibility for all your actions, and this will earn you respect from others, and it will help you to move towards your goals. Remember that responsible people never blame people for their results. Resentment is a wasted emotion. It can only hurt you, and you've got to take responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Another strategy would be to find a mentor, someone who's already accomplished what you want to do. Following a proven path is so much easier if you have someone to guide you. And then challenge your paradigms or beliefs. So we know that our beliefs, things that we have inherited over time, they've come from our history, our parents, and sometimes environmentally. Where we live also determines many of the beliefs that we form. But if we want to experience new things, we must be ready to challenge some of our limiting beliefs that we formed that might be holding us back, even subconscious beliefs. When we change our beliefs, things will start to feel uncomfortable. We can either stay safe over here, or we can experience growth by putting in the effort over here. So another stress-reducing strategy using self-awareness. So preparing to succeed. Once we've got our mindset ready and we're all solid, ready with how we are with our mindset, how are we waking up? Strategies here to succeed, warming up your brain. So when we wake up, the oldest part of our brain begins to drive us towards our goals that have rewards attached to them. Our routines are formed over time and they're created out of habit. We can set ourselves up for a day of success with some careful planning, or failure if we leave our lives up to chance. Research shows that if you remain in bed for a few extra seconds to become aware of your body and mental state, your brain will function much better for the rest of your day. You'll be able to do more with less stress. We recommend that you create a morning ritual. Try these steps. Number 1, wake up, stretch, and focus on how you feel. If you can focus on the positive and pleasurable parts of your day, it will help your brain move towards taking action throughout the day rather than focusing on your worries. Work on starting the day with a positive mindset. Visualize your day and overcoming any obstacles that you might face. This technique has been proven to increase your physical and mental energy to help you reach your goals with efficiency and ease. Yawn. This is the fastest way to lower mental stress. The Library of Congress has documentation that yawning was an exercise used by elementary school teachers in the 1890s. And there is evidence that yawning before a test can help you improve your grade point average in school. This is the most current research from Robert Waldman. I used to always get in trouble for yawning. I wish I knew that back then. Another strategy, how to train your brain to increase social awareness. So recently, I saw posted in the ASCD Smart Brief News, John King released a statement where he said, as an educator, part of our role is to help students see the world through others' eyes. There is a way to train your brain to increase social awareness and create substantial neural changes in your brain. This practice will cause you to change your behavior and in turn will cause others to trust and respect you more. So here's how to practice observing others mindfully. Step 1, prepare yourself to engage in the present moment. Let's just say that you want to have a meeting with someone that's stressing you out or causing you some grief. These are some steps that you would take to improve this relationship. So yawn, stretch, and release any negative thoughts that you might be having ahead of time that might be on your mind. Step 2, think of a word that resonates with you that represents the outcome of the interaction that you're about to have and repeat this word. Things like successful, harmonious, teamwork, they're all examples. Step 3, think of a happy memory that puts you in a good mood. This memory will make you smile, and when others see you, they'll be more trusting of you. Step 4, visualize the interaction you'll have with a positive outcome. When you intentionally follow through with a plan to be more socially aware, you'll be amazed at the results. It does take practice, but even a few minutes a day can yield outstanding results with how others perceive you. So try this empathy activity. This is something that you can do. Take out a piece of paper and write down a list of 10 people you would like to improve your relationship with by being more socially mindful of them. Each day, spend 5 minutes with this mindfulness activity when you interact with them. Go through each of the 4 steps and see what happens. After each interaction, take a moment to reflect on what happened. Did you feel more kindness, empathy, and understanding towards this person? How did the other person react towards you? What's interesting is that you don't need to tell anyone you're doing this. The other person will notice something about you, and they might comment that you seem more peaceful, more relaxed. What's really happening is that they're neurologically more attracted to you. It's called neural resonance. Now, another self-regulated learning, the marshmallow experiment. So I want to just talk about this image here. I created this image with Waldman in 2014 when I first started to study the brain. He had a model of human consciousness, and I adapted it to show how students learn in the classroom. So they start with instinctive learning. They go to habitual learning, where there's memory formation, recall. They go to intentional learning. So this is where they want to start setting goals. In order to get to the aha moment, they need to add some sort of creative learning, some sort of imagination, daydreaming, free association, ways that they can break through and understand a topic. That's when the aha moment happens and metacognition happens. So it's the thinking and awareness of our thought processes. So we really can learn anything with the right study habits, with a growth mindset. This is when magic happens. So let's take this and have a look at the research behind it. Researchers have discovered that the expectation of a future reward will stimulate motivation in the present moment. The strong belief that one's efforts will be rewarded stimulates growth of very powerful neural circuits. And as one grows older, this is what stimulates students to work harder on long-term goals that lead to achievement, more satisfying jobs, a better life, and increased income opportunities. So there's an experiment that's very well known called the marshmallow experiment. It measures patience versus pleasure. In this famous experiment, preschool children were placed in a situation where a researcher placed a marshmallow, cookie, or a pretzel in front of them. The children were given a choice. They could eat the treat immediately, or they could wait until the researcher returned and they would receive a second treat or reward. Some children immediately eat the marshmallow, and others are able to sit there calmly and wait, knowing that they would be doubly rewarded for their patience. These students now were followed over the next few decades, and researchers were able to form some conclusions about this behavior. Those who were able to delay the urge for immediate gratification performed better in school and were more socially competent. Researchers concluded that if you want to be successful in life, you must learn the skill to postpone immediate gratification and persist in goal-directed behavior for the sake of the later outcome. Can patience and self-control be learned? Research says yes, but you must also practice mindfulness and reflect on your short-term and long-term goals. a strategy that strengthens the self-control circuits of the brain. So I tried this activity with my 6-year-old and 4-year-old, and the 6-year-old saw the value of delaying gratification. She said, definitely, I will wait for the double amount of treats. And she is an A student, so I was excited about her choice. But my 4-year-old grabbed the treat immediately and was hearing nothing of waiting. So we do have some work to do in our household over here. But the fact that research is predicting success with this strategy, I think it's worthwhile to teach our children this concept at a young age. Let's go back to the polls. I'm back here. How's everyone doing? We've gone through all of the strategies here. I'm going to add in a poll question. Here is the question. So if you go to poll, you can see my question. If I gave you the choice of having the marshmallow now or later, which one would you choose? Later, yes. Yes, because we've all learned to delay gratification. I always wondered what motivated some people to stay home on a Friday night and study. And the research is showing that those of us that can do that, that skill translates later in life. So this is such an incredible finding. It's very exciting. So I'm going to end the poll. Probably no one likes marshmallows. So, oh yeah, Sharon, I hate marshmallows. That's funny. So what I want to do now, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And I'm going to share with you some solutions that I have here. So research is showing the clear link between our brains and our results. There's you, your brain, and your goals and your future. And it's showing that we can train our brains to be optimistic in this ever-changing world. We can learn new strategies. We can overcome our fears and reduce stress in our lives. We can learn to take action when we're frozen and scared and see the positives in the situations. We can practice growth mindset even if we go off track, and figure out what our true motivation is, and see the possibilities here are endless. It's very exciting. We can have whatever we want, but the truth is that many of us are stuck with the fight, flight, and freeze stage without a strategy or a plan or a solution. So this is where I came in to take everything that I had learned over the past 15 years and I put it all online for a program that could help students in the classroom as well as anyone to learn these concepts. So I took the program, the book that I had created with Robert Waldman, and I created an online portal with lessons that could be used for home study or in the classroom. And there are 3 modules to the program. Module A mirrors the Level Up book. And it's pretty much everything I learned from the speaking industry with the brain in there. We're talking about the 3 parts of the brain. Students learn, there's a video, and I will show you very quickly in a minute, but strategies here on overcoming obstacles, criticism, and getting yourself on track on life. There's also character lessons, and then there's expert interviews where we took some celebrities, some Shark Tank success stories, and just some regular real-world people that had attained success in their life. So let me just go out of the PowerPoint and I'll show you what it looks like quickly. So we log into a portal with a username and password, and I won't show you. It's based on a Moodle platform. Moodle has evolved over the years, but within the program here, you can see Module A and all of the lessons, Module B with all the character lessons, and Module C, quite a wealth of expert interviews. So this is a tool that could be used for students in the classroom, and it's a part of the offer as a solution for you to teaching young people these strategies. So what does it actually look like if we go into, I'll go into engaging your brain. All lessons look the same. They could be used in the classroom on a smart board. This could be projected up. The videos are very quick. And then there's a very quick discussion. So watch the video, read the lesson, and then complete the activity. It could be completed on a PDF, or it could be completed online if the students wanted to do it that way. So that's what all of the lessons look like. I'll show you quickly the character lessons. I'll go into citizenship. I know that's an important one. So it has a lesson. Ask yourself a question on citizenship, the meaning of citizenship, and then an activity. And then if we want to look at the expert interviews, we have, let's show you, Doug Weed here was the former assistant to 2 of the American presidents. We interviewed him on the greatest US presidents. So there's a video, and then there's questions to do. So this just takes the students to see some real world connections of real people. Even students. Dante Dre Winrow is a student that has been supporting us for years. He's out of California, and he did a quick video for us on how persistence helped him to graduate from high school. He has Tourette's syndrome, and he talks a little bit about how that was an obstacle for him and how he overcame that obstacle. So that's the Level Up program that is a part of what I'm offering you here. I want to go straight to here. So as a part of this offer, this webinar here, I partnered with ASCD Smart Brief, and we're doing an introductory program for the brain and learning. So if you did want me to work with your teams and your schools, we do have the 4-hour webinar that would include this and going into more detail on the brain for your teams, and then adding in the portal. Now, our usual price is $897, but I have given half off until the end of September for anyone that would want me to work with their schools. And I'll just conclude here that the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I just applaud all of you for being on this webinar to learn some of these strategies to help your students and to help yourself. I'm going to come back into the webinar room. And I'm going to just share with you, if you did want to work with me, I am going to put in the offer section. If you click to the offer section here, you'll see, you just scroll down, you could click on that and work with me. If you're not too sure if this is something for you, I will display at the end of this webinar a learn more information. You could go to my website and we could customize a plan for you if it's something that you would like to learn more about, investigate, and have a little bit more of an in-depth discussion. But let me know in the chat. Actually, I do have one more poll for you. Let's go to the poll. If you click to the poll, did you take away some new strategies to reduce stress? If you can answer the poll, I will know that what you asked me to do, I helped you with. Excellent. Excellent. It's looking good. So does anyone have any questions now that you would like to ask me in the chat? I will display our other Learn More offer in a minute. If there's anything else that any questions that you might have for me, please do type it into the chat. I'm here to help you. I would love to work with your schools and help anyone learn this information. As I learn more, we'll be creating more of these webinars to help take the most current neuroscience and make it relevant to education. So I just want to thank you so much for coming, and I'm going to load a Learn More. If you want to learn more, there's a Learn More page that will explain more about our programs. And let me know if you have any questions at all. Was this helpful? We see some people, yes. Oh, Liga, you're the one from Toronto, TDSB. That's where I was a teacher. Knowing is the first step to the journey. Wonderful. Welcome, Liga. If you know, I was over at Zion Junior High. That's where I started my career. Welcome. Let me know what school you're at TDSB. I would love to go back and work with teachers in Toronto, and then I can see my mom and my sisters. Although I've heard it's a hot summer there right now. Any more questions that you have? Any more questions at all? Victoria Village Public School, wonderful, wonderful. This is fun. Any more questions? I will put the offer back up. I've got the Learn More in there right now. If you do want to learn more about me, you could just go to achieveit360.com. I'll type it in here. You can see me at achieveit360.com. And you could go to any of our programs that we have a look. Internationally, if you go to Amazon, you can see Level Up on Amazon. You can see the book there. And let me put I will put the webinar back up. If there's anyone that wants to work with me and maybe you're not the right person, let me know if there's someone that I could contact at your organization, because I would love to spread the word more about neuroscience. So if there's any more, oh, it's 39 degrees today. That's so hot, Liga. It's very hot over here in Arizona, but we don't have the humidity. Ellen's in Phoenix. Yes, I would love to connect with you, Ellen. Let me know where you are, what sites you're at, and then I can always reach back out. I'm in Chandler here. And I want to thank everyone for their time. I'm going to end the webinar now. It's been 45 minutes, and I know how busy educators are. I know you're rushing off. There will be a replay. You could always watch the replay at your own convenience, and share the replay with anyone else that you would like to share the replay with. And if there's anyone that you think that I should contact at your organization, please do let me know. And you could send me a contact us message through our website. And I just want to thank you so much for your interest and for the support. People all around the world, this is so exciting. I'm thrilled to have had the opportunity to share this very important message for the classrooms. So I'm going to sign off and say thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to perhaps meeting you in the future. Take care. Have a wonderful day.